dear God, that you'll give us wisdom, but you'll give them openness to receive knowledge and understanding today. Help them to understand it. And whatever we do because we care about them. We give you honor, we give you glory, and we give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen. You may have a seat. Hello. Let me tell you something. You act the fool here. We get the whole armed forces of the Ministry of National Security here. We could take you outside and give you some more of what you're dealing with this morning. All right? We ain't come to play with y'all. Let me tell you why we ain't come to play. Right now, it's costing the Bahamian government, it's costing our taxpayers $20,000 for every inmate that's incarcerated down at B-Docks. It is costing us $20,000 just to feed the inmates down at B-Docks. Our goal is to make sure that you don't end up there, because we could take that money and we could put that towards national development. Now, you're here today because your school identify and say that y'all are problem makers. Y'all are the troublemakers in the school. Our job today is to share some experience. Young man, why you get them shades on in here? Some sun in here. You won't go back? Come this way. Come here, sir. Come here. Excuse me. The prescription? Okay, sir. Okay. All right. Okay. But we looking for a demonstration this morning. So anybody what one feel like they won't be that demonstration, then you're welcome to be that demonstration. But like I said, we didn't come here to play with you today. We come here to open up your minds that you could be able to see some truth. So I encourage you to open up yourself and receive from the people that's going to be able to speak to you today. Then we got a treat. You so important that the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Bahamas decided that he can come down here to say hello to y'all. That's how important y'all are. I believe that somewhere out in this midst, out in this audience right now, is the future Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Y'all believe that? How much y'all believe that there's greatness on the inside of you? If you believe there's greatness on the inside of you, stick your hand up and say, look, I got greatness. Now, here's what our rule is today. We about respect. First of all, number one is we respect God. What's number one? I can't hear y'all. Number two, we respect authority. What's number two? What's number one? Number two is what? Number three, we respect ourselves. So number one is what? Number two? Number three? Okay, number four, we respect each other. What's number four? So number one is what? Number two is what? Number three? And number four? Last one, we respect our environment. We respect our environment. So number one is what? Number two? Number three? Number four? Number five? Now, if I ask you what we do, your job or your response should be, we respect God, we respect authority, we respect ourselves, we respect each other, and we respect our environment. Now, I got some lunch for you guys. If any time we ask you what you do, and all of y'all can't say it together, y'all don't eat. Your eating is determined by how soon you get what we trying to get you to get. Everybody understand that? All right, so what we do? All right, this one right here for the folks who ain't get it yet. Because I want them to stop you all from eating. All right? So what we do? Come on, give yourself a round of applause. This morning, we decided to bring a couple of residents, we call them inmates, from down at the B-Docks. Everybody understand or know what B-Docks is? Bahamas Department of Corrections. All right? That, we used to call it Falkfield Prison, but it's known now as B-Docks, Bahamas Department of Corrections. So we decided to bring a couple of persons down here because sometimes seeing is believing. So the first person who can come to talk to you, right, is a young man. Ain't as young as you guys are. But when he went to jail, he was not so much older than you guys. Our first presenter gonna be Mr. Ronald Simmons. He's been in jail, y'all ain't gonna believe this, for 23 years. 23 years. Come, Ronald, come tell your story.
Good afternoon. When Bishop G.Reid asked if there was anyone great in here, all of y'all should have raised your hand, because in here is pure greatness, and you just got to recognize that. Now, my story, I've been in your situation one time ago. I was young, but I'm not so young anymore, okay? And I know you all are looking at me and wondering, how does he have the authority to speak to me? He don't know my situation. He don't know what I'm going through. But I want you to know that I may not know exactly what you're going through, but I know that I used to be just like you're quiet. I used to be a person I was slick, okay? I thought I could get away with anything that I put my mind to. But I found myself in prison. Why? Because of stinking thinking. And that's what I want to start with you with today. I want you to know that our actions are a result of our thoughts, okay? It starts with your thought. Thought brings your actions, meaning that you are only going to do what you're thinking. So if you're thinking positive thoughts, positive things, you're going to do positive things. If you're thinking negative things, stinking things, you're going to do negative and stinking actions. I also want you to know that our actions have consequences, okay? All our actions that we do have consequences. And the consequences of our actions don't only affect us, unfortunately. Our actions affect our family. It affects our community, and it affects the nation. That is the reason why y'all are here today, because we know that your actions moving forward will affect the direction of this nation. That is why we want you to know that you are great. We want you to think that you are great. We want your actions to be of a person who wants to be great. Because if your actions are great, the results will be that this country will be a greater nation. Now, consequences lead to different paths. The consequence of my action lead me to a path that you don't want to go. I've been on that road. Okay? It's only by the grace of God, not no lawyer. It's only by the grace of God that I'm here today to be able to speak to you. The consequences lead to two different paths. If you're doing positive things, the consequences of that will lead to a path of productivity and life. Now, if you on the path of negativity, stinking thinking, then you're going to lead to the path that leads to destruction. And that destruction could be in your incarceration, which will result in a lot of regret. And you could go to jail for many, many, many years. I've been to jail for over 20 plus years. You don't want to spend 20 plus years of your life in hell. I know that we watch TV, we listen to the music, and they glamorize thug life. They glamorize gangster living. But there is no glamour in no gangster living. There's no glamour in thug life. The only result from thug life and gangster living is either prison or early grave. Prison, early grave, and plenty regret. And like I said, your actions don't only affect you. You affect families who you perpetrate your actions on. So if you rob, your action affect the business establishment, it affect the person. You shatter their minds because now they've been robbed. They're living in fear. If you're stealing, you're affecting someone else's life, which will affect your community and the nation. Like Mr. Carlos Reid said earlier, right now they're spending over $20,000 to feed us. That's a burden on society. That's a waste of taxpayers' money. When all we have to do is change our thinking. When we change our thinking, it changes our actions. And when we change our actions, it changes the consequences of our actions. Now, some of y'all might say that I don't know your experience. I don't know what you're going through. I don't. But we cannot justify, because you had a hard life, you had a hard, shaken life, you grew up in a tough environment, it was difficult for you, because you was abused, because you're deluded in your mind, because you're following the wrong person, we can't justify your negative actions. You have to look through the delusion of thug life. Thug life is actually hard life. That's jail life. You got to look through. You got to look at the persons that you're following. If the person that you're following, the guy on the block, if you're following him and he's going to jail, where do you think you're going to end up? The only place he could lead you is to jail. That's where he's ending up. If the person that you're following, if he gets shot down at a young age because he's living this thug life, what do you think is going to happen to you if you're following him? You only could follow and go where your leader is going. So he's leading you down the wrong path. He's leading you to destruction. He's leading you to unproductivity. He's leading you, you're not going to be able to live your full potential. He's leading you to jail. He's leading you to death. Is that what you want for your lives? Is that what you want for your lives? You want jail for your life? Do you want an early death for your life? You all have plenty potential. Always remember what Mr. Carlos Reid said. You all are great. And also, one last thing before I go. There's many men who've been in your position who had a hard life, live a hard environment, had it tough, but they overcame. And as I look at y'all, I know that y'all are able to overcome your situation. Even if you've been abused, if you have a lot of hate, pain in your life, you are able to overcome it. You just have to let it go. It is not about no love. It's about forgiving people and loving. Okay? I don't need none of y'all to go to prison. I don't need none of y'all to spend the type of time, waste the type of time that I waste in jail. Continue to focus on your schoolwork. Develop yourself. Develop yourself to be better. And when you're looking for role models, look for people who are productive members of society. Not the person who living on the blocks, who ain't doing nothing, who go into jail all the time. That's not the person you want. Not a gangster rapper, not a gangster on the TV. That's not your role model. Your role model is the people who are productive members of society. With that being said, I just want to wish you all a great day. And I want you all to work on making yourself better, develop yourselves to live to your full potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. Our next inmate. Y'all thought 23 years was long, hey? Guess how long this brother been in jail? This brother went to jail from he was 22, sorry. He's now 53. So he spent the last 31 years of his life locked down in prison. Come on, y'all welcome Mr. Williams.
Good morning to everyone. When the question was asked, who is great or who wants to be great, I saw a lot of hands. How much of you all play basketball? Look like we have a lot of Buddy Hills and Andre Ayton in the crowd. So they are good role models if you all want to follow someone. I see or hear a lot of young baby and all them other people, them rapping and things, and the young fellas in prison, they bouncing with that. I can't listen to them type of music. I rather listen to Barry Salmon, Luciano, culture music. All right, now, like it was said, I came to prison when I was 22. Now I'm 53. I spent a lot of time in prison. It wasn't easy. It still isn't easy because I leave a child out there. I spend 1 year out there with her. She turned 1 in June. I came to prison in July. That is not a good thing to leave a young baby or your family at that age. Now, plenty of y'all, I doubt y'all 21, 22 now. Y'all don't need to be in prison. Life isn't easy in prison. So, but y'all feel like y'all are gangsters and bad boys and things like that. That don't last. They say everything have an end. So y'all need to think about what y'all really want to do, because a life of crime isn't the right thing. When you are in prison, you eating oatmeal. They feeding you oatmeal. Whether you like it or not, they bring you cream of wheat. They feed you things what you don't want to eat. I sure y'all love going where y'all want to go, right? Y'all like wearing what y'all want to wear, right? Y'all can't do that in prison. You have younger persons than you telling you when to bed, when to go to sleep, come get your food, go that way. You can't talk to that one. That is not what y'all appreciate, right? Y'all want to talk to y'all friends, right? All right, well, if you want to be free and go where you want to go and be a productive person in society, then you all have to choose a better road. A road of crime and being a nuisance to society, that ain't gonna work. You can only end up where I'm at. I'm still waiting for my time to go home. After spending 30 years, I still don't know when I'm going home. Y'all love y'all family, brothers, sisters, mother, father. Y'all don't want to be there. All right? Find a better road to travel. Being a bully in school, being a so-called bad boy. Because I see a lot come to prison saying they bad boy, and when they reach there, it's a different story. They have to fall in line. So Mr. Reid asked me to come down here to say, to help guide y'all so that y'all don't come there. Like I say, prison is not an easy place to be. I would love to be free. Coming down there on the bus, my head turning right and left because I haven't been out of prison for so long. Everything is beautiful out here. In there, you only see in walls, only concrete walls and whatever they have in place. Trees and things, you don't really see them like that unless you're working on the outside. So I wouldn't want that for any of y'all inside here. So some of y'all play soccer too, right? All right. Try to enhance your soccer skill. Try become a great soccer player for the Bahamas. That'd make a lot of money. Basketball, making Buddy Hield making money. DeAndre Ayton making money. Try be like one of them. Don't be a person like me in prison. Your life on hold when you in prison. Your family only could come there a certain time, see you, but right now, how there's no visit, I only could get a phone call out to them. That is not what you want. Y'all need to try find a better road to travel. A meaningful road to travel. So I just want y'all to think about what was said here today and what Mr. Reid have said to y'all, and try to put it in your mind that I don't want to go there. I don't want to be like Mr. Simmons. I don't want to be like Williams. I want to be free. Try find a better road to travel. This ain't no picnic. I might still look like not too much older than y'all, but it was rough. My child grew up without me. I have a grandchild out there now. Don't let y'all grow up without, and your family grow up without y'all. Whoever, I mean, I don't know if any of y'all have any kids yet, but don't let your family be without y'all, because y'all mothers love y'all. Fathers love y'all. Y'all sisters and brothers love y'all. So I'm sure they would want y'all to be out there where there is, where they can love you all. On your birthday, give you a gift or whatever. Prison is not the road you want to travel. So that's my thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. One of the greatest challenges that you're going to ever have as an individual is knowing how to resolve conflicts. Because God created almost 8 billion people, you and I ain't never going to see things the same way. We always going to have difference of opinion. This is why, like each and every one of us, we're different. If you look at your fingerprint, not another person on planet Earth have your fingerprint. Because God made you uniquely different. Because of our differences, that means that we always going to have different opinions. We ain't always going to agree on the same things. The best way to resolve conflict is to avoid conflict. Because if Mr. Williams to tell you how he ended up getting in problems, he was part in the fight. And the person that he was part in the fight on, they turned on him. And his quest, he ended up killing the person. So he spent the greater part of his life in prison. Why? Because a conflict presented itself, and he figured that is the way to resolve it. The best problem in the world is an avoidable problem. And most people get themselves in conflicts that they can't handle because of 4 things. And because you're here, I can share the secret. The first thing is, in life, you better know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you give somebody else permission to make you who they think you should be. Anytime you don't know who you are, people start to call you different things, and then you start to have to defend what they calling you because you don't know who you are. What I'm saying, if somebody called me a sissy, I know sissy, so I ain't even answering to that. The only time you answer the names that people call you is when you don't know who you are. Like I said, if you don't know who you are, you give people permission to make you who they think that you should be. So the first thing, the first step to avoiding unnecessary conflict is to have an identity. Who am I? I believe that every person ought to take a trip into the bathroom, in the mirror, and look at that man in the mirror and ask yourself until you get an answer. Who am I? God made each one of us uniquely different. I believe that too many of us, we celebrate sameness. We want to be just like somebody. We want to do what everybody else doing. But I discovered in life that if you and I are just alike, then that makes one of us unnecessary, and I can believe it's you. Every last one of us have a unique substance about us that God created us with. So number one is what? You got to know who you are. Say it with me. Number one is what? Number one is what? This speaks to identity. And number 2, you got to know why you're here. What's your why? What is the reason that God placed you on planet Earth? God do not make junk. Everything he made, he said it was good. It was good for a purpose. When you find that thing, that main thing, that one thing that God created you to do, it gives meaning to your life. It gives substance to your life. So everyone got to ask themselves that question, why? Why did God place me on planet Earth? Why did God put me in this school? Why did God cause me to live in this community? Why did God make me the way that I am? Because everything he made, he did it on purpose, because everything that he did inside your life was for a purpose. Everything was made with a purpose and for a purpose. The day that you discover what your why is the day that you start living. For years, I didn't know my why. I didn't know who I was. So I was out there gangbanging. I ran a gang in the Richland Park area called the Magic City Assassinators, which went on to be the Junglers and many say that's where One Order was born from. These same hands right here carry a lot of guns. I smoke a lot of dope, use a lot of dope. I believe it, I done smoke about 6 field of grass. I smoke marijuana, smoke surrogacy, shepherd needle, T-bag. I use LSD, purple haze, quaaludes, paper acid. I use just about every different type of dope. You know why? Because I didn't realize that I had a purpose. I didn't know that in this delinquent mindset, I didn't know that God had 4 books inside me. I didn't know that I could have a PhD. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I could be consulting government. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I could be lecturing in university. I didn't know that. Why? Because I didn't know who I was. I didn't understand purpose. But the day when I came to understand purpose is the day my life changed. Now I decide my destiny because I'm in control. I know who I am and I know why I'm here. Number 1 is what? Number 2 is know what you was placed on earth to do. You got to know purpose. So first one is identity. Second one is purpose. The third one, you got to know what you could do. Every one of us have the ability to do something awesome. God never gave man a chair or a table. You know what he gave him? A tree. He placed the table and the chair into the tree. Somebody had to use wisdom to bring the chair and the table out of the tree. God never gave man shoes, you know. You know what he gave him? Y'all ain't gonna believe this. He gave him a cow. The shoes was inside the cow. Think about this. What's inside you? What's inside you? There was this man, black inventor, called George Washington Carver. This village that he grew up in, they used to grow peanuts. Somebody say peanuts. And they, one day, like they had so much peanuts that they didn't know what to do. So George Washington Carver went into the lab. Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but he came up with 116 uses for the peanut. One single peanut. He discovered that you could make soap, shampoo. You could make peanut butter, what we do. And not watch this, and even penicillin. He come up with 116 uses for the peanut. One single peanut. So if he could come up with all those uses for a peanut, what you think about you? I wonder what's on the inside of you. See, sometimes we allow stupid people to block the potential that God placed on the inside of us, that we never become who God intended for us to be. And I had to realize that there was more than me than skipping school. There was more than me than getting bus up all day. There was more than me than going from school to school, seeing who had I could bust open. I realized that God had something in me. And that's why you're here today, because if God didn't release the potential in me, I wouldn't even be in the front here talking to you today. I wonder who you supposed to impact. I wonder who you supposed to reach. But guess what? You'll never reach who you're supposed to reach until you reach yourself. So the first one is what?